Hello YouTube and welcome to another moto vlog. This time it's the Tail of the Dragon. This is take like, I don't even know. This is actually my third video I've made. Didn't like the first two. They were way too long, like over 2 hours long. That's just not gonna work. Couldn't fill 2 hours with talking. What a shocker there. This is heading down the Moonshiner 28. I just thought this is just like unbelievable scenery. It's one of the reasons the Tail of the Dragon is what it is. You know, you got all these amazing roads, and they're not just amazing for like the riding, but they're amazing because of the views and the scenery as well. Just showing that off here. The fog just makes everything look so amazing. Mystical or something. It's a nice way to start your day for sure. So we're headed to the Tail of the Dragon. It's like 7 in the morning or something, and it's just me and one other rider. Everyone else decided to stay in and get breakfast before leaving. We were worried about the weather, which in retrospect played out because this is one of basically the only truly dry runs the whole time, the whole day, besides like the last run. So now we're getting close. Just showing off some of this Moonshiner 28 since you're not going to see it in many other places. It's a pretty cool little road, very scenic. Doesn't have that many sharp curves. I mean, this is like as sharp as it gets, pretty much. I think there's one sharp curve over the bridge. There's a very sharp curve at the end of a small bridge, but besides that, it's pretty much nice and open. It's a good run. You know, not the most exhilarating, but what are you gonna do? It's a nice little warm up for the Dragon. Get your tires warm. It's kind of important. If you're gonna be going hard, you know, to get your tires warm. Oh yeah, cracking open a beer. That's good. Now we're skipping ahead to the Dragon itself. First run. You know, the Dragon takes quite a while, so I'm not going to show like full runs or anything. But I'll show a bit of it here and there. You know, I mean, we do hit the 35 minutes somehow. So we got a lot to talk about here to fill the time. You know, I don't have, now look at this, now look at that, now look at this narration ability like I did in the other videos. So I guess I just had to talk about like what's on my mind and hope I can make it last. Well, what's on my mind today is definitely like performance riding versus, you know, safety, that whole old shebang. How fast are you willing to go on roads like this versus how fast can you go? And the adage of like taking more risk versus giving yourself more options in, you know, an unexpected scenario. That's always on my mind when I think about videos like this, because I mean the way I'm riding doesn't leave a whole lot of room for error by myself or by anyone else. The yellow line is pretty slippery First off, if you cross it at the wrong time. But more importantly, you know, it's hard. These are blind corners. It's hard to see if traffic's coming the other way. So you're always at this disadvantage where you don't know what to expect coming around the corner. And to ride fast, what you have to expect is that there is nothing on the other end of that corner, and I'm going to go balls to the wall as fast as I can to the other side. You know, use the available grip that the motorcycle has with the ground to get around this, you know, 11-mile stretch of road as fast as possible. And of course, the other adage, the safety adage, would be to, you know, travel at a very reasonable speed. You know, not using much at all of your available grip, and always riding within your sight limits, so that you can always stop within how fast you're going. So, like, going around a blind corner like this, you want to slow down enough so that you can stop in the middle of the corner if you had to. Like, stop, like that fast, because that's how blind some of these corners are. In a corner like that, it's pretty wide open, but then, you know, the mountain and the trees and stuff blocks your vision a lot. Like right there, you know, you'd want to slow down a lot so you can stop in the middle of the corner because you can't see through it. And what if there's something right there on the other side? Like in the worst possible place, you know what I mean? So, like, you know, for performance riders, we're not really doing that, but if we're safety conscious riders, we are. So there's always, like, maybe I would say like a line, perhaps, with how much you're paying attention. Oh, there's the Groms squad. Now we're heading back. Of course, this is just some more beautiful scenery. You can see here. See, I think at this time of day, when the sun is blocked by the clouds more, it's going to yield better looking footage on YouTube, because YouTube compresses the video so much that, like, the high dynamic range of the color, it's not actually HDR video, but like the literal going from like white up top to green, the white and green, and like all this intermixing of color, it doesn't compress well, and it kind of screws the videos up. So when like the colors are more even and there's less detail to have to be shown, that's when the videos tend to look better on YouTube. So that's something you need to be aware of, is, you know, all these trees and the leaves and stuff, and then again, like this white background, it makes it look bad on YouTube. It artifacts the crap out of it. It just looks really fuzzy and not good. You know, there's a lot more to video quality than, you know, frame rate and resolution. A whole lot more. So that's always something to keep in mind if you're like a content producer. Even if you're just making videos for fun, you know, you gotta be aware that, you know, the quality might suffer a lot more than you expect when you upload your video to YouTube. Now we're behind the Groms. We let them go ahead of us, but they didn't stay ahead for very long. As you can see, I mean, they're pretty much straight up, and one of the reasons for that is their tires are, you know, their tires are like semi-off-road, like 50-50 looking tires. And okay, yeah, I'll give them that. You don't want to push hard. And I didn't see them for the rest of the day either, those Grom people. I wonder what happened to them. Did they find some like off-road trails around here? You know what I mean? do a little Grom off-roading? Isn't that what they were set up for? Oh yeah, then we run into this Harley guy. He goes pretty quick. for a Harley guy. And I'm not saying like he's slow, it's just like the bike, he's like using all the lean angle that bike's got. I mean, he could hang off and get a little more, but we're splitting hairs at that point. Yeah, so continuing on the theme of the whole weekend, just continuing on, right? We're getting there, we're getting there. You can see it's still up in the mountains, more fog. I mean, this is our first run, you know, not that late in the day. I'm already running out of things to say. Am I gonna be able to go all the way? Well, probably. It's not that hard. I mean, we're 11 minutes and 35, right? Yeah, looking at the sound waves, you can see my lack of enthusiasm a little bit here. I guess real life is creeping back in, you know. I can't just focus on motorcycle trips and riding and stuff anymore. I've got like actual responsibilities and things going on. Ugh. How annoying. Yeah, now I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm actually thinking about something I shouldn't talk about on the public forum, which is like my motorcycle accident. So I'll kind of refrain from commenting on what I'm concerned about. Just say that case is still ongoing, which is annoying. I'm not a very good legal client. I can say that at least, you know. I don't know. I don't keep very detailed records of what's going on. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I wasn't in it to make money. You know, I was just trying to go to work. That's it. So that's all I can say about that. Anyway, we can continue on now. We're headed back. So we went back to the hotel because it's only like 15 minutes away. And now we're headed back. But, of course, dang, that's a cool looking creek. But, of course, we're stuck behind a guy going like 8 miles an hour. And it's wet and no one really wants to make a pass. So we eventually get there. And we start riding through the dragon in the rain. Very cool, right? I mean, this is for me like the true defining moment. You know, anyone can ride the dragon in the dry, but in the wet, you actually have to have some technique to your riding. Like, and of course, I'm going dog slow. I don't want myself or anyone following me to crash as a result of my riding. So I'm taking it nice and easy. Keeping everyone safe, so to speak. But really, I'm just going my own pace. Kind of feeling out the conditions, you know. Seeing if there's going to be any slipping or moving around at lower speeds. The grip on this road is usually pretty good. So there's not too much to worry about as long as you're not going that fast. Now, if you're going fast, there's a whole lot to worry about. Now, after having some fun, we do come up on this guy. This is just ridiculous. What can I say? What can I say? I mean, I don't think the trailer that big should be on this road. It can't even fit it can't even fit in the lane. It's crazy. I mean, he pulls over, but then there's a car coming the other way, so it's not like... I do split between them a bit. And then I don't wave, because I'm like, dang it, you shouldn't even be here. And I guess he's legally allowed if his thing's under 35 feet. I don't know if that's under 35 feet. It seems like right up on the limit of what's allowed there. Certainly not a semi, but at the same time quite long. We're off moving again, continuing on. Now it's just like really humid, you know. Not much rain, but it's just like we're in the clouds pretty much. I didn't bother to look at the altitude at the tail. Don't know why. I guess I was too busy riding the road. Check out how high up we were. You can see me getting a lot more confident though. I'm going like as fast as I was going in the dry in the morning now in the wet. You know, I'm faster coming back the other way because I've kind of scouted the road out beforehand, you know what I mean? And I have an idea about what the conditions are like. So I can have some confidence in the level of grip. So now we're going out for the third one. This is like perfect lighting, at least on my screen. That looks really good. Just showing off those cliffs. Back at the gap again for round 3. Round 3. Riding 28 was a nice like reprise a lot of the time. And of course hanging out at the resort, seeing a lot of cool bikes, that's always part of the fun. And I think that's one of the things besides the road itself that makes the gap, you know, a real motorcycle destination. The fact that it is a destination already, and you know there's going to be cool bikes there, is kind of like an interesting reason to go already on its in and of itself. Now we're moving down the road. It's still wet, so I'm taking it pretty easy. As you can see, not going very fast or anything like that. Oh yeah, and then on the way back, this third run had not many events except for this guy. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know if you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say, but like, this dude is not a very good rider. His lines are like really bad. Like really swoopy. Everything's really swoopy and like overdone. He apexes like super early and then goes way wide and like kills himself going across the double yellow line there, you know what I mean? Well, he doesn't cross the double yellow, but like he's throwing himself out on these like crazy lines. It's like he's not really looking at where he's going at all. That seems to be the issue. Oh, we got the Killboy tent. You know, those guys were out in force, and of course I got my pictures and everything. That was pretty tight. Then he finally waves me by. Oh man, I was thinking about my stinking legal case again. What the heck is wrong with me? I'm not doing another take. It's just not gonna happen. Y'all can just watch this guy in like awe with me. I just like, ugh. And I'm back from that phone call. If you heard that coming onto my mic, you know, getting a nice spam call at 6:15 p.m. It's always a fun thing. So now we're stuck behind some Harleys. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. See, now the big difference between these guys who are 2 up and the guy on the sports bike who was 2 up is that they were taking decent lines. They weren't riding in a way that was making me nervous. Now I'm behind another rider who's in my group. Some of you might know his outfit there. Some of you might not. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. Either way, he's a pretty decent rider, but nothing too fast. He's still, you know, learning the whole art of cornering. Now, when it comes to the picture, this one, it starts to kind of stink here. We got too much sun and too much shade intermingling, and the camera doesn't know what to do. It's just too much for it. So getting like a good result out here in the woods, in the forests, when there's this much shade is quite difficult. Well, there was the KTM and the Aprilia. I think they might have been the fastest out on the day that I saw. I didn't see any like really hardcore sports bike guys this particular day. Oh yeah, drinking that Black Ox rye porter. Good stuff. Very good stuff. So you can see it's still wet in spots, but not like super wet or anything, just a little damp. I think his biggest weakness is one of braking. I think that's what gets most people, is that they're so timid about, I don't want to use this word, but they're timid about charging into the corners fast. And I suffer from the same issue. Like not having a really high entry speed into the corner, but like actually using the brakes of your motorcycle to slow you down properly, rather than just being really light and like kind of half using it. So, yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that makes me faster than him there really, well, I guess there's that, and then there's the ability to lean a little more. You can see him sticking his knee out, and it's getting pretty close to the ground, but he's not really getting his head down, which is kind of hurting his ground clearance. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to get your knee down in jeans. I would worry about keeping your knee in and then using your pegs to tell how much lean angle you've used on the bike. As long as you're smooth, you should be able to use a lot of lean angle, even on a road like this. It's when you start getting on the gas too much while you lean over that you start having problems, or when you have to start changing your trajectory while you're in a high state of lean. Now, I watched that footage that we just saw there like over and over again, and I didn't see anything wrong. But I remember when I was out there that I saw someone cross the double yellow. But it's not on the footage. I don't get it. Anyways, he lets me by, and now I just wanted to do, this is like my favorite part of the Dragon here. This last part going north, going down the mountain. This is like my favorite part of the whole run. So I'm going to be putting it here, and it's just me by myself setting my own pace. Not riding to anyone else's pace like I've been doing for most of the day. Or to the rain pace, you know, that I'm my scared pace. I get to just kind of go for it in my own way. And that's the only time you're going to see me doing that on this whole trip, is right here, right now. See, I'm still braking a little early, but I don't know what to expect with these turns still. Yeah, I just know I like this section. I don't know exactly what each turn is going to be like, you know. I like that little part. That part's a lot of fun, just like back and forth. Of course, if you cut the yellow lines out, sure, it's easier. But treating the yellow line like a hard stop makes this a lot more fun, in my opinion. See, I'm braking too early. If I broke later, I'd get into the corner with more speed, but still have that same apex speed that I had. I'd be able to do every bit of slowing down that I didn't need to, but only at like the last possible instant. But it's hard to judge, you know, and it's definitely hard to get over the fear of late braking, in my opinion. Because you have to do a lot of your braking while you're leaned over. And that's real scary, for sure. I mean, especially on a big bike like this. Even though I know this bike can handle a lot of trail braking, and so can these tires. But at the same time, I just don't know if I can handle it. That's my favorite part. I like the little straightaways, and I like how tight the turns were. You know, it's kind of like a mountain pass, like downhill. Oh yeah, here we go. We got some KTM Super Dukes. We got some Harleys. We got my buddy just getting off the bike. And now this is the last run, the very last run that we're showing. This is the same one that I posted as my first video from this trip. So I'm just commenting on a little bit of it, you know, here to get it into this video. This is near the end, like 2/3 of the way through. I mean, you can see the pace. It's up from what I've been doing, but it's not like significantly up. It's just a pretty solid pace. Easy going, really, for me. The only issue is, you know, the lean angle available on the GS is kind of low because it's a lowered GS. So the foot pegs are, you know, lower to the ground than what you get from a full-size GS. So you get less lean angle available to you than the full-size bike. Which kind of stinks, because once your feet start hitting the ground, you know, I've got pretty big, crazy foot pegs. If I start grinding those apart, it might not be good. It might be an expensive fix, and that's if I don't put the bike down. So I don't really want to do that. So I'll just take what I can get, you know, and corner the bike as hard as I can corner it, which is pretty much what I'm doing. Now I could have hung off the seat with my butt, and maybe I could have got my head over some more, like there for sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not getting my head over as far as I really should. So I'm leaving a little bit of lean angle onto the table. So that's something I gotta remember. But at the same time, it was a solid run, had a lot of fun. No one got hurt, no one crashed. I think there were some close calls, some double yellow crossing by some of the other riders. What are you gonna do? They're trying to ride faster than they should be for their skill levels. And they make mistakes. It's easy to make a mistake out here. Real easy. I'd say it's easier to make a mistake than it is to not make a mistake because of how technical this road is. Just like right there, that was the double yellow cross. Just a little one, but at the same time, if there was a car coming the other way, it could have been real bad. And it kills your pace too. It kills your confidence, kills your pace. It's not good. Now we're heading back. This is just some more beautiful stuff. There's someone filming their bike on the pier. If you caught that for like the 5 frames that the bike was in the shot. The kudzu is just amazing. I don't know why it looks so good. And then we're coming up 28. This is part of 28 we haven't showed before. So I figured I'd show it here. This is coming up the mountain. He's one of the Z boys. We had a lot of BMW Z4s. Don't know what that was all about. Let's call him the Z boy. See, it's a pretty bad line on my part, but I'm hugging the inside still, instead of letting it push me wide. Just heading up the mountain back to the resort. Nice chill day, nice chill session. Everything was good. You know what I mean? We had a lot of fun, had a good day. I wish I could do it again, but at the same time I'm glad I kind of can't, because pushing on that road is scary. I wasn't like pushing or anything, but like people do push and they go above their limits a little bit, and when you go just above your limit just a little bit on the road like this, it pushes you just a little wide, and just a little wide is either over the double yellow or over the white line. And either way, it's a bad outcome. So I don't know if I really trust myself not to do anything really stupid, you know, while I'm out here on these roads. This is the Fontana Village Resort. Getting to see it from a more bright angle. I really like this place. You know, it's old style rooms. You don't have a lot of outlets. You don't have like USB ports. You don't have like a really big crazy TV or anything like fancy going on. But at the same time, it's nice. It's nice to be kind of like away from civilization a little bit. And not have like good internet for once. That's the way I put it, you know, to not have good internet for once. You got the nice restaurant there. Food was okay. I mean, not the best, but not the worst. And everything's just nice and cool, you know? We got our Harley boy. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching. And think about your riding. I know I will.